100. Hi everyone, I'm Vanessa and welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new, happy to have you. Here we do and talk planty things, so if that interests you, consider subscribing and don't forget to hit the bell. Now, today's garden topic is Houseplant Room Tour Part 2. If you missed Part 1, there is a link in the description below, or you can click on the link up top, click on the link up top to get caught up. As I mentioned in my previous video, this is my green space, as I like to call it, as it holds over 100 plants, so I do have a lot to show you, so here we go. Starting over here is my Calthea Zebrina. The foliage on this plant is stunning. It's so beautiful that you just can't own one copy of this plant, so I have a much larger one in my outdoor lanai. Moving on, here is a bird's nest fern, my Calathea warscewiczii. Not sure if I pronounced that correctly. The foliage on this plant is also stunning. However, I forgot to water it last week, so the edges of the leaves started to brown a little. Overall, still a nice looking plant considering we're not in the grow week season. Now over here by the window, which is a northwest facing exposure, is my Thanksgiving cactus. This one had quite a lot of flowers in bloom about 2 weeks ago. It still has some tiny flowers that have yet to open, so I'm looking forward to when they do. Hoya wayetii that I picked up at the Green Thumb Festival held in St. Pete. If you missed that video, I'll link it up top. Dischidia pectinoides, which is what the plant was labeled. However, after doing some research, I think it might have been labeled wrong because it looks so much more like the Dischidia oiantha, which I'm finding out has now been renamed to Dischidia Schlumbergera. So currently, I'm not exactly sure what name this Dischidia actually goes by at this point. Next is my Hoya CV Sunrise, which some of you are already familiar with, as I did a small unboxing video on my IGTV. As I mentioned before, I got this from a seller in Thailand. I took a chance purchasing a plant overseas, and I'm so happy with the entire buying experience, as this plant is gorgeous and large, and it arrived in such perfect condition. The main reason why I got this plant was because I love the blushing on the leaves. When you place this plant in some good sun, the leaves will turn this amber reddish color. It's just beautiful. Rhipsalis Paradox minor. For me, this is a type of plant that you just can't find locally. So of course, I also purchased this one online. And next to it is the Rhipsalis Paradox, also known as the chain cactus. When they're right next to each other, you can really see the difference in the two. I would say this one is a much more common plant to find compared to the Paradox minor variety. Alocasia amazonica, and just like my other alocasia that I mentioned in my previous video, this plant too is susceptible to spider mites. Next is an Episcia. However, I'm not exactly sure what cultivar this one is, so if you think you might know, please let me know in the comments. This one is also flowering. It's just beautiful. My Austral Gem Fern, Peperomia obtusifolia Variegata, Aglaomena, more commonly known as Chinese evergreens. This one has a beautiful pink color to it. Monstera Addison, wide leaf variety. Calathea Amagris, or is it Calathea Amagris? Either way, Calathea, however you pronounce it, they're still beautiful. Pellionia pulchra, also known as Polynesian Ivy. The leaves on this plant feel really cool, and they have a very velvety, rubbery feeling to them. Now over here in this corner is my humidity-loving plants. Grouping your plants together also help create a mini microclimate for themselves. However, a humidifier is also something I highly recommend, especially if you're going to grow a southern maidenhair fern like this one. This is probably one of my favorite ferns, but it is one of the most finicky. because they don't like their soil to dry out between waterings, and they really thrive on humidity. So if you can manage to keep up with that, this plant will love you for it. Microscorum musifolium crocodilis, also known as the crocodile fern. I think the plant speaks for itself. The veining on this fern is pretty neat. Bronze Venus Maidenhair fern, a really sad Alocasia Freddy. This thing died back and now it's just this one new leaf, so there still is hope. A bird's nest fern. Another Calathea Amagris, my Stramanthe triostar. This has such pretty leaves, but this plant too thrives in high humidity. My silver dollar fern. When I went away on vacation, it didn't hold up too well, and now it's just bouncing back. Tucked away amongst the foliage is my Oxalis Triangularis, also known as the false shamrock plant, a Zingonium. Next is a Sansevieria black and gold, Hoya Krinkle 8, Hoya obovata with its speckled leaves, Hoya carnosa crimson queen. It can be distinguished by the white or creamy borders on its leaves. Hoya carnosa tricolor. Next is this lovely pseudo Rhipsalis ramulosa, also known as the red mistletoe cactus, because this too, when placed in good sun, will blush as its leaves will turn a pinkish reddish color. Helia Pepper, also known as the Chinese money plant. Mine has already started to produce babies. Eventually, I think I will plant the smaller ones up, but for now, they're living. Dischidia ornantha variegata. This plant also was labeled just as a Dischidia when I purchased it, so I'm not 100% accurate on the identification. Episcia Thad's cheetah. This one is also flowering. My Rhaphidospora touchosperma. This is a plant that I had separated from the main plant, which you will see in just a moment. I love the pink of this Zingonium Regina red. Hoya Eskimo. Clippings of the chain cactus that I am propagating. Peperomia ripple purple. Not sure on the exact cultivar of this Peperomia as it was unlabeled when I purchased it. Bunny ears cactus. Tradescanthia spathacia, or moss in the cradle. Peperomia ruby cascade. Hoya Krinkle. I stumbled upon this plant in what I call a jungle of a nursery for only $12.99. I about died when I saw how much it was because you can't find this plant locally just yet, and for that price, no way. Hoya bilobata. And moving on down here, this huge Sansevieria. I'm not exactly sure which cultivar this is, however, it looks kind of like a mixture of all the Sansevierias that I'm growing. Sansevieria Bangle Sensation. Rex begonia, however, the new leaves that are growing in have seemed to lose its color, but I think that might be due to the low light it's receiving. Sansevieria futura superba. Sansevieria moonshine. My ZZ Raven, which I picked up at a grocery store for $17.99. I too about died when I came across this plant, so of course I bought two. The new leaves, if you're not familiar, grow in a green color. I'll throw up a photo for you so that way you can see what I'm talking about, and then they turn this deeper black color as the leaf matures. Here in my dome, I have some plants that I am propagating. Episcia Blue Nile, Episcia Emerald Velvet, Calathea Amagris, and Episcia Pink Smoke. Next is another Sansevieria whalefin, dwarf jade Sansevieria, Pothos and Joy, which I normally don't keep here, but currently it doesn't have a permanent home yet. Another black and gold Sansevieria, Alocasia amazonica, and my huge Sansevieria whalefin, which I have yet to divide. And lastly is my main Rhaphidospora tetrasperma, which has attached itself to the wall, and currently it's living its best life. Well guys, there you have it, and thank you for joining me on my plant room tour. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you have any questions about anything you saw in the room or just want to plant chat, leave a comment in the space below and I will be happy to reply. Also, you can follow me on all of my social medias, including Facebook and Instagram. When I am not shooting videos, I am posting pictures, as there is always something new growing. As always, thanks again for watching. See you next time. Bye!